You're listening to the boss of the big board.
You are rocking with the hottest. Put your hands up for the boss. The Mix Master is live. Get ready.
Vegas Scoreboard Express. JB the Ticket, giving you that grease.
That's right. Merry Christmas Eve. JB the Ticket is back at you live. NFL Sunday here, KSHP 107.1 FM, waking you up early in the morning to give you the cash. Santa is feeding the reindeer the hay, and I got my guys on the line with me. Scotty, beam him up, Webb. East Coast Sports Investors, MLBDaily.com. Good morning, Scotty. Happy Christmas Eve to you.
Hey, good morning, JB. Glad to be here on this day.
That's right, guys. Waking you up December 24, 2023. Got a ton of NFL games on the line for you today, giving you the college football recap yesterday of the bowl game season. And to do that with me, we finally brought him back to the big board. My main man, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors CEO. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Good morning, JV. Good morning, Scotty. Happy Merry New Year.
There you go. Happy Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa. That's something I like to say. For everybody out there celebrating their holiday season, you guys need to get over to jbtheticket.com. I got everything that you need over there for you. Get your last-minute deals. Get all of your after-Christmas sales. Tons of links for you. Fubo TV, drizzly.com. Fanatics, I got all the sports jerseys you need coming into the playoff season. Got the Run DMC going on in the background. Christmas in Hollis. Shout out to all my brothers in heaven. You guys know I'm from New York City. I can remember back in the day, waking up in the hood, running around everybody's house, grabbing some cookies and trading off gifts and what have you. All the stuff we didn't want, all the stuff we didn't get, we found a way to get a hold of it. So again, we're going to help you guys get a hold of it today on Vegas Scoreboard Express. Tons of picks for you. Appreciate you guys stopping by the big board this morning. You guys keep it locked with us. We'll be back and start the grease. Ronnie B is going to be here. JBtheticket.com chief handicapper. And my main man, John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. So when we get back from this short commercial break, guys, enjoy the show this Christmas Eve. It's time to put some cash in your pocket. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease. Skip your cable bill this month. Enjoy the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. More fire, more heat. Vegas Scoreboard. Turn that shit up.
Back at you live. Got him on the line with me, Jeff Dawson, CEO, East Coast Sports Investors. And I've got him with me, Scotty, beam him up, Webb from MLBDaily.com and the East Coast Sports Investors. I'm your host and boss of the big board, JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express, waking you up early this Christmas Eve morning, December 24th, 2023. Happy for all the people that got there. Blessings are abound. It's not always about gifts, people, But if you're having some trouble getting that last bit of cash, this is where you want to stay tuned. 107.1 FM and AM 1400 right here, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Getting ready to drop some grease on you. So, guys, yesterday in the NCAA, the bowl season has been going strong. A lot of second stringers proving what they can do on the field. And again, Jeff Dawson, CEO, East Coast Sports Investors, congratulations for recovering from that cold that you had. Said you might have had COVID. I thought that was over with.
Oh, goodness, JB. You know, after a spectacular Friday and Saturday covering Army-Navy game media and then the game 2 days later, waited till last Tuesday and unfortunately was out for a week, but I'm back strong, so thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad that you are back, and again, we want to talk a little bit about this college football. He's coming up shortly on the half hour, Ronnie B. He gave a great pick yesterday in the college football bowl games. He said go with Duke over Troy. I didn't give Duke too much grease in this game. I figured, ACC, I mean, these guys were like 8-5 or 8-4, something like that, going up against an 11-1 Troy team. But they were able to pull it out 17-10. So just to talk a little bit about the ACC and touch on some of the things that are happening. You got the New Year's Six coming up, the college football playoff. Florida State getting left out. Looks like they're trying to get the heck out of the ACC there. And when you talk about the performance of Duke yesterday in their bowl game, I know it may be a smaller bowl, 76 Birmingham Bowl. Shout out to the gas station 76. Got one right there on my corner. All my guys listening early in the morning, waking you up. Thank you guys so much for your support. Basically, let me run all over your store the way I want. But you look at what Duke is able to do and what the ACC has been able to do as far as college football. Georgia Tech lost their bowl game on Friday. But do you think that Florida State is going to have any snowball's chance to maybe get out of the ACC going forward to next season, because they've already filed the lawsuit to do so? Jeff Dawson, your thoughts?
As you said in the intro, shout out to Duke. Coaching changes, quarterback transferring to Notre Dame, I think, and they were really, really shorthanded against an 11-1 Troy.
And just
team.
on a side note, they're picking up the quarterback from Texas, that Malik Williams kid. I think he's transferring to Duke. But go ahead.
Yes, but shout out to them. Florida State right now in a mess of turmoil. I think the last number I heard, the total cost would be about $540 million that they would end up owing the ACC. And I guess there's a couple other teams that will try to follow suit. I don't think so. I really don't, JB. Too much red tape. Listen, this is one season, and we won't have this issue, this problem moving forward because we got 12 teams in the bowls. And I said this earlier this week, JB. I don't know what you or Scotty might think. A down year in the ACC. I'll just say it this way: let's just say Dabo Sweeney would have went undefeated, I think they would have been in, okay? And the greatest coach one of the greatest coaches, Bobby Bowden of FSU, if he ever went undefeated, God rest his soul, we know he would have been in. I just don't think they're right there where they used to be, JB, that's all.
Yeah, the ACC is wanting in college football, but again, shout out to the Duke Blue Devils yesterday, putting a bowl trophy in the ACC conference headquarters. Moving along to another game yesterday. They begged for it, and they got it. The beatdown, Air Force in the Armed Forces Bowl. James Madison, we won a bowl game, getting mollywop, beat by 10. Air Force, that triple option, a little bit too much to handle, and the transfer portal helped to do James Madison in. Scotty, beam him up, Webb, MLB-daily.com. I'm going to throw this one at you, my friend, and we may touch on some baseball, too, because there's just a lot of money getting floating around here in this offseason, and I know you've got a little bit of grease on that. But talking about this Air Force game, we had mentioned this last week about the service academies and how those guys, they play for pride more often than they are playing for money because of their military commitments. But James Madison, talk about a team that was like, look, we want to go and get sacrificed. We want to be sacrificed. And they were 31 to 21. So when you talk about some of these smaller schools coming into Division I, even against service academies, stalwarts, if you will, of Division I who've got a lot more experience, do you think that going forward in some of these smaller bowl games, you're not going to be able to pull out as many dogs? Because what happened yesterday with Air Force, they were able to cover that -2.5 spread. Go ahead.
Well, I think that the James Madison team you saw yesterday was not the James Madison team that played the whole season. So, yeah, they had their quarterback. He was in the transfer portal, and he played. But they were missing 2 linebackers, 2 defensive linemen, a cornerback, a backup linebacker. I mean, their defense was not the same defense, and that's the same defense that only allowed, I think the number was 67 yards. Maybe whatever it is, it's under 70 yards per game rushing. So that's definitely a bunch of backups that were in there, and that matters in smaller schools more than it does the major schools, because the major schools have better talent that they've got throughout their teams, where the smaller schools, the depth isn't the same. So when you're looking at having to play a bunch of guys that really didn't play a whole lot, and the quality of those players is much less than the ones that were on the field, then it does create a problem. So ideally, though, I think if these games actually get to a point where the kids actually play again, I think that you might run into the situation where none of the good team will be out there, and you'll see a representation of what the team was for the whole season. So it's really hard, right now to figure out what's going on in these bowl games. And then if you're betting on a team, and you got to do your homework, because you need to figure out who's going and who's playing, because just looking to see who's in the transfer portal doesn't necessarily mean that that's the side that you want to play against, because a lot of these kids that are in the transfer portal didn't play anyway. They're backup guys, and they want to go on to new schools and have a chance to play. So unless they're starters, that are gone, and they're, grouped together in a cluster where a whole bunch of them are gone on defense, for example, just like last night with James Madison, I think that a lot of this is overblown. And I think some of these teams, even like Coastal Carolina last night, where they had a whole bunch of kids in the portal, but they went out and won the game. So it's an interesting situation. And if you're a true fan of college football and you like the idea to see what depth looks like, that's great. But in my opinion, this is nothing more than sort of exhibition games, almost like glorified practices almost.
Sounds like it to me. Again, Scotty beaming him up, Webb dropping some grease. I would have to agree with you. It's a late non-conference schedule, and you really don't know what you're going to get. Let's jump to the Las Vegas Bowl. Again, this one was here at Allegiant Stadium. Again, guys, you guys want to keep it locked here out in listener land in Las Vegas, all around the world. KSHP.com, JBTheTicket.com, VegasScoreboardExpress.com, Spotify, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate. We're also got the podcast over on YouTube, so you can check that out. Subscribe, click that notification bell. In the Las Vegas Bowl, Utah, they didn't get it done, man. Northwestern, shout out those Northwestern Wildcats. They went through a tough season, coaching changes, pulled it out late, 14-7, the under. Shout out my main man, Troy West from TroyWins.com. He gave you this pick, told you to take the under in this game. Another situation where you looked at teams with players in the transfer portal and teams that are not performing as well as you may think in relationship to some of the late season recognition. When you have a team like Utah, James Madison, those are 2 ranked teams that went down in their bowl game. And you're talking about guys transferring in and out, guys adding their name to the portal, losing half of the defense. This is going to be something, like I said before, from a college football betting perspective. After the conference championships, unless you are deep into these rosters, know something, have some more information, it could get tough for you. But when I get back from this short commercial break, guys, we're going to jump into some NFL picks. That's right. Ronnie B, Las Vegas, JBTheTicket.com, Chief Handicapper, is going to be back on the line with you with his pick of the week. And then on the half hour, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. He is kicking butt, rocking hard in the College Football Bowl Series. You guys are going to definitely want to get over to his website, predictivesportsbettingplaybook.com. He also writes for rotowire.com with all of the sports. He is going 4-1 against the spread in the bowl so far, 26-6 against the spread in the NFL. That's for 81%, people. So you want to keep it locked here with me, JB the Ticket. Any quick shout out, guys? Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and then Scotty, beam him up, Webb. I'll throw it over to you. Go ahead.
We'll go back to your neck of the woods. A shout out to our good friend and colleague, Mr. Pop DiBiase and his family.
There you go, Pop DiBiase. Merry Christmas. All the folks out here in Las Vegas, again, thank you so much for tuning in. And down in Tampa Bay, all my folks down in Florida that are tuning into the show, thank you so much for doing that. Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Give your shout outs, and I'll take this short commercial break. Go ahead.
Well, I guess it's that time of year, Christmas is tomorrow, so this is all about family and being around for the holidays. And, no matter what you do today, no matter what games you bet on tomorrow, whatever fun you're having that way, just make sure you always remember that your family is there and they're always supportive of you, and make sure that you spend some quality time with them.
That's the best way to do it. Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Jeff Dawson, both from the East Coast Sports Investors. Scotty with MLBDaily.com, telling you to focus on the family during the holiday season. Let it all go, people, because the ones that are here are the ones that will be there, and the ones that are not here may not see them again, but we want to make sure that we see you again and keep your ears locked here with us on 107.1 FM, AM 1400, right here live on the radio each and every Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Going to be switching to a new time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time in the new year, so you guys keep it locked here with me, JB the Ticket. We're going for the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Is your dog suffering from a sensitive stomach? Hi, it's Kelly the Cookie Lady from Mooch's Munchies. Our dogs had super sensitive tummies, and I needed to find a low-fat treat that wouldn't give them gas or other issues. Most of the treats on the market were loaded with fillers, chemicals, and chicken fat. Many of them weren't even food. Well, I knew I could do better, so I developed Mooch's Munchies, and I'm happy to be able to share them with you. Stop by our store or our website, moochesmunchies.com, and find out why we say that Mooch's Munchies are totally pawsome.
Kick off the football season with Drizzly.com. Score big with your favorite drinks delivered right to your doorstep. From ice cold brews to game day cocktails, we've got the perfect lineup for your football gatherings. Visit VegasScoreboardExpress.com and click the Drizzly. Now let's get the party started. Drink responsibly. Must be of legal drinking age. Delivery and availability may vary. You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. You're listening to the boss of the big ball.
You are rocking with the hottest. Put your hands up for the boss. The Mix Master is live. Get ready.
JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
That's right. Santa Claus is coming to town. JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Got my guys on the line with me. Ronnie B, Chief Handicapper, JBTheTicket.com. Thank you so much for coming on the line with me. Got a little bit of that Jackson 5, bringing it back to the classics this morning. This Christmas Eve 2023. You guys follow me on Instagram at JB the Ticket. We're talking some NFL today. I'm checking my list, checking it twice to give you guys the picks. And, of course, Scotty, Beam 'em Up Webb, East Coast Sports Investors, MLBDaily.com, and Jeff Dawson, CEO of the East Coast Sports Investors. So, again, Ronnie B., thank you so much for coming back on the big board. Good morning to you this Christmas Eve.
Good morning, JB. Happy holidays to all.
That's right. Happy holidays to all. So glad that you guys are here with us this morning and enjoying your Sunday morning here with us. Hope you got your hot apple cider, your eggnog going, because we're getting ready to jump into the grease for the NFL. So let's talk about some of the games that went on last night in the NFL. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Troy West. He warned us yesterday about this one. The Cincinnati Bengals let us down, guys. Rotation number 453. This was a Saturday game yesterday, December 23rd. They didn't have Jamar Chase. Again, Troy West from TroyWins.com. He warned us about it, said he was going with that home dog, and he said it would be a bloodbath and take the over. Man, he was right across the board on that. You guys definitely want to get over to TroyWins.com. Happy holidays to you, Troy. 34-11. Mason Rudolph coming out party. We didn't give him absolutely any grease as far as what we thought he would do as the third-string quarterback, but there was a lot of action on that line, the end-game betting. A lot of people thought that Cincinnati would pick it up in the second half, scoring in the third quarter those 11 points, but then pretty much scoreless for 3 quarters. So Cincinnati hasn't locked up that playoff spot just yet. So when I talked about this yesterday with you, Ronnie B., we thought that Jake Browning would be able to maintain and do more. But, you know, Mason Rudolph, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. You got to give credit where credit is due. Browning did well, 335 yards and a touchdown, but the scoring just wasn't there. So offensively, Ronnie B., what do you think going forward do the Bengals have to do to be that dark horse? And I know that you had mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, Scotty, Beam 'em Up Webb, that you think they could be a dark horse to go to that AFC championship. But Ronnie B., go ahead.
Well, Browning threw an egg yesterday. Those 3 picks hurt him real bad. They didn't come out. They came out flat. They looked like they thought they had the game before the game started, and Pittsburgh had other thoughts. And Rudolph, I tipped my hat. He played good.
Yeah, he did, man. You know, it was shocking. You know, we thought that the pick monster would be him, but it turned out to be Jake Browning. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think that puts Cincinnati behind the 8 ball now. I don't think they're going to have a clear path to this playoff, and I think it's going to be very difficult for them to get there. They blew it yesterday.
Yeah, they did, man. It was a terrible situation. Also, we didn't see a lot from their defense. Talking about that defense of Cincinnati, a lot of people have thought that they were a stalwart, that they would help that offense get over the hump. But I think maybe due to the holidays as well, Saturday, that could have been a factor. But again, shout out to TroyWins.com for giving you that grease. Let's move to the other game that happened yesterday. The Buffalo Bills barely squeaking by. I told you guys this would be a win-by-1, lose-by-none situation. The Chargers, shout out to Mark Hayes, station director here at KSHP. He told me last week that they laid down here in Allegiant Stadium. Didn't have the motivation. The coach had lost the locker room, but they played with motivation yesterday at SoFi and almost pulled off the upset of the Buffalo Bills, but 24-22. Throwing this one at you, Scotty, Beam 'em Up Webb. The Buffalo Bills, are they surging at the right time? Their 9-6 record doesn't seem to be that strong when you've got the Steelers at 8-7, the Bengals at 8-7. You would think the Bills should be up there with the Ravens, 11-3, with the 49ers in that range. But you're talking about a team right now, 9-6, that gave up 10 points in the spread to a Chargers team that rolled almost a donut the week before to our hometown Raiders. So what are your thoughts about the Buffalo Bills? Can you trust them? Go ahead.
Well, I think in a lot of ways it depends on what metrics and things you like to look at. So one of the things I like to look at is DVOA, and DVOA says San Francisco is the best team, followed by Baltimore, followed by Buffalo. So even though Buffalo hasn't won, they're 8-6, or going in and won last night 9-6. They're basically playing as the third best team in all the NFL. So when it comes to why they lost these games, all you have to do is, when you look at Josh Allen's statistics, don't look at the ones that say touchdowns, look at the ones that say interception.
Right. So for me, I look at it from the perspective of that the Bills are going to play. They're going to try to peak and get that playoff. But it is really, really tight. And when you talk about some of the games that are important, we got the Monday night game coming up tomorrow. Let me pull that up. Yeah, the Ravens and the 49ers. So when you talk about those two teams, AFC versus the NFC, this could be a possible preview of the Super Bowl. But we'll jump into it right now here. Again, that Super Bowl out here in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Let's talk about some of the games that are on the big board today. Again, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. Got my main man Scotty, beam him up, Webb from MLBDaily.com, East Coast Sports Investors as well, and Ronnie B from JBTheTicket.com. So we'll do a couple of games, and then we're going to bring in John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. Let's talk about this Indianapolis Colts team, because this is a team that shocked a lot of people this season. They are doing surprisingly well. And with the NFL being as wide open as it is right now, you've got the Colts right now at 8-6, going out on the road to Atlanta, rotation number 457, the Indianapolis Colts in Atlanta today versus rotation number 458, the Falcons. Falcons are 6-8, looking like they are probably going to be knocked out of that AFC South. But the Indianapolis Colts at 8-6, who would have thought that this team would be here, losing their number one draft pick, Anthony Richardson, early to an injury, using some of that Minshew magic to kind of get them over the hump. Throwing this one at you, Jeff Dawson, when you look at the Indianapolis Colts in this particular season, are they the dark horse that you've got to watch out for? Because they're 9-5 against the spread, 6-4 in their last 10 straight up. They are a really good football team, and surprisingly, no one's talking about them, and they're expecting them to implode, but they have the same record or close to it as the Buffalo Bills. So you got to give the Indianapolis Colts some credit here. Go ahead.
Yeah, preseason, I thought they would have an okay year. They drafted a quarterback with Richardson. He gets injured. In comes Gardner Minshew. They lose Jonathan Taylor. In comes Zach Moss. A resurgence of Michael Pittman, rookie Josh Downs. I didn't see this coming. And here they are sitting here, right there in the thick of it, obviously, with the Jaguars and the surprising Houston Texans all tied even with 3 games to go to win that division. So a very intriguing game in Atlanta today, and seeing the numbers, I mean, it was basically a pick-em to start, and I've seen Atlanta as high as 3 in an absolute must-win for Atlanta. And the fact that the coach, Arthur Smith, has seen enough again, going back to Taylor, let's have a Heineken, or should we say Heineke tonight. So intriguing game for sure, JB.
Well, you talk about the Indianapolis Colts and some of those dynamic offensive players. Michael Pittman Jr. seems to be out in a concussion protocol. He was cleared Friday, but got down to Atlanta, and the Marbles came back. And they also suspended 2 special teams players, and Isaiah McKenzie and Tony Brown, for conduct detrimental to the team. Whatever that means, maybe they didn't flush the toilet before or after they went. But nevertheless, the Colts are without some key players today, so I think that's why they're plus 2.5. Do you think they have enough with Zach Moss in the backfield, possibly Taylor coming back from some of his injury, to make it a run on the board, plus 2.5? Jeff Dawson, get your thoughts, and then I'll throw it over to you, Ronnie B. Do you think that the Colts are going to be strong enough to get those points today? Go ahead.
I'm looking at this game, and for me, I'm going to take the team with the desperate team, the sense of urgency. I've already played Atlanta on the money line. I don't want to leave 1.5, 2.5 points on the board. I think it also will be a higher scoring game in close quarters here. So I have Atlanta money line today, JB. No Pittman, as you said. He did clear early in the week, and then I guess he had some symptoms on the plane. Jonathan Taylor back, but going to have to win the turnover battle, and let's feed the beast. Let's get Bijan Robinson going as well.
He says he wants to see Bijan Robinson in the backfield for Atlanta. Ronnie B., your thoughts on this game? Indianapolis at Atlanta, rotation number 457. The Colts plus 2.5 on the spread. Atlanta minus 2.5. Total is 44.5 in this game. Jeff Dawson just mentioned it. He think it can go a little bit higher on the score. Colts at plus 130 on that money line. Go ahead.
I didn't play the game personally. I did look at it. The line scared me with the big flip in the numbers, opening up as a favorite. Now a 2.5 to 3 point dog. I think the difference here is going to be Gardner Minshew. I think he's going to make mistakes. He's got 8 interceptions already this year, and I think Heineke's going to come in and settle Atlanta down. And I think I agree with Bijan getting the ball handed to him a lot here. So if I had to lean this game, I'd have to lean with the home team.
Got to lead with the home team. Again, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, dropping some grease on you this Christmas Eve. Guys, you hang on the line with me. I'm going to bring him on with us when I get back from this short commercial break, talking about my main man, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. I like this game from a total standpoint. If Indianapolis gets into a situation where Taylor Heineke, this has been the year of the backup quarterback, okay? And if he is as good as he was last season in Washington for the Atlanta Falcons today, I think that the Falcons might be able to win it. However, the Colts are trying to also make a push for the playoff spot to lock it up. So I'm going to take the total over today in this game, guys. When I get back from this short commercial break, we're going to have him on with us, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. You guys keep it locked here at 107.1 FM and AM 1400, KSHP.com, VSX Digital Sports Networks. I'm your host and boss of the big board, JB the Ticket, this Christmas Eve, giving you what you need on the NFL picks to put the cash in your pocket. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.
Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
Vegas Scoreboard Express, Saturday and Sunday morning at 6 on KSHP North Las Vegas, FM, AM, K296HP North Las Vegas, and KSHP.com.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.
Back at you live, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you the grease to wake you up early in the morning here. Got him on the line with me, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook and RotoWire.com. Good morning to you. Merry Christmas Eve to you out in Jersey. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and the same to you, JB. Thanks for having me on the show, and let's just keep the winning ways going here.
That's right, keeping the winning ways going. Here on Vegas Scoreboard Express, you can follow the show on Instagram at JB The Ticket. Check out my website, jbtheticket.com. We just talked about the Indianapolis Colts, Atlanta Falcons, like the over in that game. Another game that I was taking a look at today on the line that was quite interesting to me based on records. When you look at them, two teams that you probably didn't expect to be here, but they are. Talking about those Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. Rotation number 461. The Browns -3 on the road today in Houston. Houston rotation number 462. I think C.J. Stroud has pretty much got the offensive rookie of the year locked up, wouldn't you? 8-6 in his rookie year, 7-7 against the spread. Very respectable on that betting standpoint. And you talk about these Cleveland Browns bringing back old Joe Flacco. What do you know? If Tommy DeVito is Tommy Cutlets, this guy is Aperol. I'm telling you, man, he's hanging around. He's not just winning football games for them. He's controlling the football, okay? Not throwing picks. Got him at 9-5. They're looking strong. If they can go to 10-5 today, Cleveland, I think, is going to be one of these sports teams that has no press but a lot of grease. I'll throw this one over at you, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. How do you see it? Do you like the home dog today? In the Houston Texans, though, a strong team coming in at 8-6, trying to get the 9-6 and put Cleveland there. But Cleveland, 59% of the money is on them at the -3. What say ye? Go ahead.
I think I agree with you, JB, for the most part. I think Cleveland, the market's telling you that Cleveland on the road is a favorite. Obviously, the market's telling you that Cleveland is the better team. And I think they roll, to be honest with you. I don't have a strong play on this one, but I don't see Houston being able to match up much. I know there's been talk about the Cleveland defense having not played so well on the road in terms of points allowed. But let's keep in mind, that's a small sample size. And looking at the whole entire season, the Cleveland team, no matter how many injuries they have had, remains one of the toughest, stingiest defenses in the league. And they hit legally, they hit hard. And, sometimes even at the pro level, you get hit hard and it takes the wind out of you a little bit, or, it just hurts in a different way. That changes how the next couple of plays get run, too.
Right. And you talk about possibility of injury to Joe Flacco, calf strain in practice this week. He is their fourth starting quarterback for this particular season. And you talk about this being the year of the backup quarterback. He had 3 picks in the win over the Bears. So I want to throw this one over to you, Jeff Dawson. When you talk about the Houston Texans on the other side being a dog that's barking, how can you bet against C.J. Stroud in this position here at home when you've got a position with the Cleveland Browns, their defensive front? The Texans are going to be getting after Joe Flacco. And if he happens to go down, who is going to be in the backup position for the Cleveland Browns? That's my big concern with this particular game. And when you talk about a guy coming in a little bit long in the tooth, Joe Flacco, a little bit of a strained calf in practice, coming in on the road for a very hungry team, Coach DeMeco Ryans, coming from that defensive side of the ball, is going to be thinking blitz, blitz, blitz. Total's 39.5. Do you think this one possibly goes over? And does Houston win it by 1? Go ahead.
Yeah, Joe Flacco was raking leaves 3 weeks ago, and I'm a firm believer, defense does travel. For Houston, unfortunately, no C.J. Stroud. It looks like DeMeco Ryans is going to go back to Case Keenum. Nico Collins will return. Obviously, no Tank Dell. Very intriguing. You said, what happens if Joe Flacco goes down? I did a quick Google search, and maybe the return of Bernie Kosar or maybe Brian Sipe from the Dog Pound. But
Johnny Manziel, I'm sure he's sitting around somewhere. Go ahead.
Maybe at the Spearmint Rhino. How's that? I leaned Cleveland all week. I don't like them minus that field goal. And I see I think Cleveland wins the game. First 1-20, JB wins this. I got Cleveland right around that 2017 winner today.
He likes the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to throw this one over to you, Ronnie B. When you talk about the Houston Texans, they have some backup issues as well. Again, this is the entire season of the backup quarterback. If you took a backup deal this year, you're basically the starter. Houston plus 145 on the money line. Do you think they got a chance today? Go ahead.
Well, I do think they have a chance. because they're a home team here. And Case Keenum is a little bit younger than Joe. And Joe, like you said earlier here, that was raking leaves a couple of weeks ago. So I think it'll be a competitive game. I think the defense is going to show, though, with Cleveland coming out on top.
There you go. He says that Cleveland possibly comes out on top. Let's move to another game, guys. This is one that is being brought to you by Fubo TV. Go over to FuboTV.com/JB. You'll pick up the weekend package. That is my Christmas gift to all of you people out there. I'm going to give you a week free. You don't got to pay. You can just hang out. Now, when you talk about this particular game, when you look at it and you say to yourself, these two teams, we didn't expect them to be here. Talking about the Detroit Lions, rotation number 467. Lions at 10-4, hanging tough. They got to go over to Minnesota. Two dome teams. You know we kind of like how that goes. Minnesota, 7-7. Rotation number 468. 7-7 is their record. Plus 2.5. 47.5 is the total. I looked at this game all week. Nothing really moved. Do you think the Detroit Lions can come in here and play a lot better? Because what we've seen over the last couple of weeks with Jared Goff, he's turned into a pick monster. And when that happens, you look at the Minnesota Vikings, who came to Allegiant a couple of weeks ago, struggled to score, won the game 3-0. How do you put the Detroit Lions offense versus the Minnesota offense? In my opinion, whoever scores the most points in the first quarter will win this game. Two teams that tend to start off slow. If Detroit can start off fast, a la Thanksgiving weekend, we could see some issues with Josh Dobbs, the Minnesota Vikings defense, their offense. They're a 7-7 team that should really be like a 4-9 team or something like that. And again, I know all the Minnesota fans are like, I can't believe you're saying that. But their schedule has been somewhat soft. Detroit is their toughest opponent, but they've got a 2.5 spread. I'll throw this one over to you, Scotty, beam him up, Webb, down in Tampa. With the Minnesota Vikings having their own quarterback issues, I mean, that's the theme of the NFL. At 7-7, can they kind of move themselves up in that divisional rankings? Because when you go into their division right now, I don't really see them going into anything more than possibly, and again, this is a hard possible, maybe a wild card coming out of that NFC North. Go ahead.
I like the Vikings in this game. I don't think people really have given the Vikings as much credit as I think the Vikings could take on being actually a good team. And what I mean by that is, you know, Kirk Cousins hasn't played for a while, and when Kirk Cousins was in the lineup, Kirk Cousins was a really good quarterback for them this season, at least at the beginning. So as things were going along, I mean, he was really good. So now, yeah, that you have to pair that with what else are they good at? Well, do most people realize that this team is the number 5 defense in the NFL? And they're playing Detroit today, and Jared Goff is number 32 quarterback in the NFL against the blitz. And the Minnesota Vikings, their number one thing that they do is blitz. So it's a home game for Minnesota. I think Minnesota's sitting there ready to steal this game. I like the Minnesota and give me as many points as you can give me, but I think they can win this game outright.
He's telling you they can win it outright. The dog is barking in Minnesota. Let's move along to another game here, guys. Want to bring another gentleman on the big board with us, my main man Brian Snow. He's trying to knock on the door here. Want to throw this one over to you, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. Again, thank you so much for stopping by the big board today. It doesn't have a lot of playoff implication, but it is interesting from a fan perspective. We want to talk about it, and we want to talk about it early. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Scotty, beam 'em up, Webb. You're down in Tampa. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. You're also on the East Coast. -1.5 today. They're going down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I think is a pretty good football team that a lot of people aren't giving credit. Rotation number 470, +1.5. Another one of these teams hovering around 500, trying to figure out how they're going to get the next wild card spot in the NFC. And it's an AFC matchup today with the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in. Duval rolling over that I-40. You talk about this game and you say to yourself, how do you figure that Tampa Bay is not locked up the NFC South yet. We've seen the New Orleans Saints lose. We've seen the Atlanta Falcons not really hold much water with them. They're on the line today. But the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC South at 8-6. It's a three-way tie. Is this a must-win for them? Go ahead, John Ryan.
Oh, it absolutely is a must-win for Jacksonville, and they've had the division in their grasp several weeks ago and found ways to lose games. I think the biggest news is that Trevor Lawrence has cleared the concussion protocol and is expected to start. And without his arm, I think they would really be up against it with Tampa Bay here being on the road. But playing on teams that are priced between the threes, meaning a 3-point favorite, 3-point underdog, coming off of 3 consecutive losses against the spread and facing an opponent after 2 or more consecutive wins against the spread, 38-12, JB for 76% against the spread record over the last 10 seasons, and that puts you on Jacksonville here pretty squarely. So for that reason alone, I like that system quite a bit. It's done well. Not one losing season among those 10, and I think Jacksonville gets it done finally.
He says Jacksonville, the Jaguars on the road. Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Got to get your thoughts on this. The home team, Tampa Bay, plus 1.5, rotation number 470. Can Baker Mayfield keep the train going? He has been fighting hard for you guys. You can get an extra $5 on the money line, minus 105, total 43.5. What say ye, Scotty? Can your Tampa Bay Buccaneers get it done at home today? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think that the Buccaneers certainly can get it done at home today. I don't think they're necessarily the best team on the field today, but from what I've seen from Trevor Lawrence over the last 3 or 4 games, I don't think that he's going to be the one that's the way you want to put your money behind. I would put my money behind Baker Mayfield more than I would behind Trevor Lawrence. Now, saying that, I think the better way to take a look at this game is if you can, when you have a pick 'em to a 1-point game, a lot of times the dog in that situation is going to be a good teaser play because a lot of times these games are going to come down to within 3 points or so. So I like the idea that you can put Tampa Bay in a teaser and get them plus, say, 7.5. And then you got them with that touchdown and a half and pair them with somebody else. But I like Tampa Bay in the teaser spot. If I had to play it outright, it's a tough spot for them. Their bigger game is going to be coming up. They play the Saints coming up, and that'll be the determining factor whether they get to go to the playoffs or not.
That's the key here. Scotty, beam him up, Webb. East Coast Sports Investors, MLBDaily.com. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, and RotoWire.com. Ronnie B, JBTheTicket.com, and then Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. Is anybody hopping off the big board before I come back from this short commercial break? Because we're going to finish out the show with the Monday Night Football preview, the 49ers and the Ravens.
I'm here.
There you go. Everybody's going to stay locked on the board. You know what time it is. That means here in Las Vegas, you got to stay locked with me. 107.1 FM, AM 1400, JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Merry Christmas Eve to each and everybody that is out there. When I get back from this short commercial break, we're going to break it down for Monday Night Football. You guys are going to want to keep it locked here with me, and we're telling you where to get that Christmas money back. Lines on the board. Also got those Raiders out in Kansas City. Might touch on it. Keep it locked here. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted.
JB the Ticket back at you live here. Vegas Scoreboard Express waking you up early in the morning this Christmas Eve. Got my guys back on the line with me. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. Ronnie B. Of course, Scotty, Beam 'em up Webb, East Coast Sports Investors, and Jeff Dawson. So again, guys, quick game that we want to get into today. The Las Vegas Raiders, they are going out to Kansas City. Again, rotation number 477. Las Vegas 6-8. It's been a disappointing season here in Vegas. To host the Super Bowl, I gave them a lot of grease. I expected them to do a lot better. But with a couple of weeks left, if a few weird things happen, it can be a percentage of your money or it can be a percentage of your fandom. And if the Kansas City Chiefs lose tomorrow on Christmas, the Raiders can get a Christmas special on the road. The spread is 10.5, though. We're talking about betting. With the Raiders blowing out the Chargers last week, getting that offensive playbook going, do you think there's any chance that they can go out to Kansas City and put some cash in your pocket? We got about 5 minutes left, guys. I'll go around the board 30 seconds. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. Your thoughts. Raiders, can they get to 7-8, maybe finish out the season 9-8, give themselves a prayer's chance of a wild card in that AFC West? Go ahead.
I think it's a tough task, JB, because Kansas City now is up against it themselves for one of the few times in recent seasons. They got to win this game and take control of the AFC West. So I like the under here because the thing that's flying under the radar is the Kansas City defense actually has kept them in games. Kansas City's had the most lead changes of any team in the last 3 years and leads the league again this year in getting behind. So I think the under here, betting on under on totals between 35.5, 42 points in a conference game where the team is off a double-digit road win, which Kansas City is. 50-18 is that record for 74% winners over the last 10 seasons. So I like the under.
He likes the under in this one. 30 seconds. Ronnie B., Las Vegas. Do you think the Raiders can get enough points to possibly take this one over? You're talking about a total point spread here of only 40 points. 40.5, opened at 43. Go ahead, 30 seconds.
No, I don't think the Raiders are going to show up tomorrow. And I think Mr. Mahomes is going to have a good game on a Monday night Christmas, and I think KC is going to roll.
He likes Kansas City minus the 10. Throwing this one to you, Scotty. Beam him up, Webb. Raiders, do they have a chance to stay in the mix in the AFC West? Can they pull out a Christmas miracle? Winning by 1, losing by none. Rotation number 477. Raiders not in town for the Christmas holiday. They're out in Kansas City dealing with the Swifties. Plus 430 on the money line. Do they want to spoil Christmas for Kansas City, Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes? Go ahead.
Well, anytime you have a rivalry that's deep-seated like this one is, I think that the Raiders will be up for the game. Now, having said that, Kansas City has a reason to play today, so I kind of like the Chiefs here. I wouldn't be on the Raiders in any way today, unless I agree with John there with going under the number.
He likes under the number. Guys, we're going to finish it off with the last game. We got about 45 seconds left. Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. Ronnie B., Las Vegas. Got my main man, Scotty Beam him up Webb, and of course, John Ryan. So, Jeff Dawson, I'll throw this one at you. The last Monday Night Football game, rotation number 481, the Baltimore Ravens, plus 6 on the road in San Francisco. Rotation number 482, the Christmas game slate is great. Minus 6, plus 215, total 46. Give me 30 seconds on the Baltimore Ravens. Go ahead.
I think a lot of people want to say this is a Super Bowl preview, and I do agree with that. But what I think people really got to look is next week, Baltimore is hosting the Miami Dolphins, which is probably going to be for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Therefore, line opened at 5.5 for a reason. It is now touching 6. I think it's going to be the best game of the weekend, but I see San Fran winning this game somewhere in that 27-20, JB. So I lean Niners minus the 5.5 or 6.
Well, I'm glad to have you guys here on the line with us. Thank you so much for stopping by the big board. We got to get out of here. Merry Christmas to everybody. And like I said before, enjoy your Christmas weekend. Guys, do a quick Christmas shout out, and then we are getting ready to roll out for your Sunday. Go ahead, guys.
Shout out to Santa and his reindeer. Have a safe travel, and I hope you hit all the houses.
Go ahead, Scotty. Beam him up, Webb. About 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go up to see Mom, so shout out to family and shout out to Mom.
Ronnie B and John Ryan, I got to do it for us. Merry Christmas, everybody out there. Enjoy your holiday. We'll be back next week.
The world famous radio shopping show weekday on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas and KSHP.com.